I'm going to cover the 2025 LSU Tigers in 10 minutes. After this, I hope you'll subscribe to the channel. If you like talking college football, no matter who you may pull for, I hope you'll subscribe to the channel here at another college football podcast. Pass along to your friends, your neighbors, drop it in the forums, let them know I'm talking about their team. So, I cannot completely cover the LSU football team, every little crack, every little corner, every little unknown player in 10 minutes. But I'm going to give you the overview of this 2025 LSU football team. Brian Kelly's going into year 4. And to be fair to him, the 5 consecutive season openers that they've lost, they're not all on him, Ed Orgeron. He had some skin in the game there. And Brian Kelly has not done horrible at LSU. But a lot of people are hoping to see him get over the edge, actually become a contender in the SEC, which is really, really tough. I mean, that's like saying water's wet and the sun is hot. The SEC is tough. But Brian Kelly actually has a pretty good chance with this football team. Let's talk about who he has returning for the team. Who he's brought in from the transfer portal. By the way, he's done really well in the transfer portal. He returns 8 on both sides of the football. So that's pretty doggone good. I mean, you have over 66% of your team returning on each side of the football. What about, I say 66%, it's actually more than that. But let's start with Garrett Nussmeier, one of the top quarterbacks in all of college football. This guy threw for over 4,000 yards last year, 29 touchdowns, and he was taking over for Jaden Daniels. That's big shoes to fill. But he did it. He came in. He did a really, really good job. He also has Caden Durham coming back, playing some running back for them. This guy last year had over 700 yards rushing. That was a big deal. Just a moment ago, I was talking about the gets that they got out of the transfer portal. They got Barrion Brown out of Kentucky, one of the fastest receivers in college football. But he had the misfortune of playing for Kentucky last year. So no matter how good you are, you can still only do so much. Now he comes into this offense with Garrett Nussmeier. Guys like Aaron Anderson. You bring in guys in like him. Nick Anderson from Oklahoma. And so there's a chance for the ball to be spread around. There's also a chance for you to kind of get lost in the mix and have some of those big plays. Aaron Anderson had a very good season last year. He was the leading receiver for LSU. He had 884 yards and 5 touchdowns. Leading receptions leader as well. Now, on the defense, you really don't have to look that far for incredible football players. I mean, have you ever at LSU? Whit Weeks, the incredible linebacker, all conference. Harold Perkins Jr., a guy who I want to say he was injured last year, but a very dangerous football player. How about this? They brought over Patrick Payton from Florida State after that debacle last year. They're beefing up their defense, bringing someone over like him. AJ Halsey is a transfer if my memory serves me correct. They're bringing in some top dogs to a team that already had a lot of returning starters. Just to throw this out there, Whit Weeks had 125 tackles last year. Jordan Gilbert had 55 tackles. He's returning. He had an interception as well. Ashton Stamps, 51 tackles. PJ Woodland, Ahmad Bro. We got West Weeks. They bring in a lot of returning starters, players who has played in the SEC, players who has played in the big games. They've played in the big lights. And this could be Brian Kelly's best team yet, as a whole. Now, before I hopped on here and started talking about LSU and talked about the low-hanging fruit, and what I mean by that is everyone knows Garrett Nussmeier. I went on LSU's, one of their fan forum pages, and I looked up what they were saying about their team. Now, they know they're talented. They know they recruit well, like they always do. But there's a lot of people who's questioning Brian Kelly. They're concerned about the very first game of the year against Clemson, in Clemson at Death Valley. 7:30 Eastern. I'll get to that in just a second. But I was shocked at how many LSU fans were openly questioning this football team. Mainly, not really the football team, but Brian Kelly. Can he get them over the hump from a good football team who could beat pretty much anybody to the team to beat and potentially raise a national championship trophy above their head? Now, I only have a few more minutes left here, but I'm going to share the schedule. Now, this is from the LSU website. And I'm going to tell you, this is a tough schedule. This is hands down one of the toughest schedules in America. Now, last year, this team won 9 ball games. They beat South Carolina in a thriller. A lot of South Carolina fans feels like they were robbed last year. They beat Ole Miss. They beat Vanderbilt and Oklahoma. But they lost to A&M, Alabama, and Florida in conference. Florida was was just hot last year by the time they played them. And of course, they lost the first game of the year against USC. Now, I'm going to quickly go through this because I only have a few minutes left. Clemson and LSU. As a Clemson fan, I can tell you right now, this is going to be a tough game. This is a big game for both teams. There's still a season to play after this game for both teams. But I believe whoever comes out in this game, the victor, it could be big for the rest of their season. Now, it's a toss-up game, and I haven't done my prediction for my Clemson Tigers, but this is a big game for both teams. Of course, you see Louisiana Tech. That's definitely a win for LSU. Then you play Florida in Baton Rouge. I feel like LSU has more going for them as a whole right now over Florida, but don't overlook them. You have Southeastern Louisiana. That's a win. Next, you have LSU at Ole Miss. That's a big game. Lane has had to go back to the transfer portal, much like LSU did, but Lane is notorious for going to the transfer portal. And he remembers his job is to win. That's his only job. That's a game that you should win. South Carolina comes to LSU. That Lenoris Sellers team, talented, but they have a new OC. I think you can get that win there. You're playing Vanderbilt, the Diaper Dandies of last year. Diego Pavia, it was incredible. I think you go to Vanderbilt, you win that game. You play Texas A&M. A&M, talented, recruits well, spending a lot of money, and Elko can coach. But that'll be in Baton Rouge. I believe you get that game. You play at Alabama, a very, very much a toss-up game. Very much a toss-up game. Arkansas, you should beat them in Baton Rouge. You should beat Western Kentucky in Baton Rouge. You should beat Oklahoma unless something changes. So let's just go ahead and do a quick countdown here. Let's just say the toss-up games here. We have Clemson. That's a toss-up. You have Alabama. That's a toss-up. I think those two games are definitely toss-ups. And since we're coming close on time, and I said 10 minutes, I want to stay true to my word. I see this team going 10-2 in the regular season. I think that is extremely realistic to see them go 10-2. Could they go 11-1? Absolutely. Worst case scenario, some wheels falls off. They lose to Clemson. They lose to Alabama. They lose to A&M. They lose to a Florida. And you're scratching your head asking how. All right, we're at 10 minutes. I got to cut this off because I said 10 minutes. Tell me your thoughts. Where did I miss on this preview? Who's some players we should know about that I didn't mention? Are you concerned about Brian Kelly and his tenure at LSU? Put it in the comments. And hey, listen, if you like what I'm doing, I know it's just a quick overview, but hey, it's quick. If you like that sort of thing, I hope you'll pass this along. You'll subscribe. It's free, and let your buddies on your forums know about it and tell them to check it out. Thank you so much for being here with me. I'll catch you next time. College football is almost here, and I'm going to watch it with you.